And we're back again. Welcome into the channel. Gonzo, he doesn't smell, so it was just a reaction to, it's an emotional reaction to what we're going to be talking. Oh yeah, there's Gonzo. My name's Craig. This is the German football spotlight channel, where the light in the morning after is pretty dim. Yeah, feel a bit sad, but you've got to clap in that effort. Yeah, this video is a reaction to Dortmund and their superb effort against Barcelona. So they're out now, sadly. Yeah, sorry, just let me try and compose myself. So, welcome into the stream. This is a reaction to Dortmund winning on the night, but losing on aggregate. Aggregate? Let's put my teeth back in. Losing on aggregate to Barcelona in the Champions League. What a second leg quarter final that was, though. Come on. I mean, not just we, but a lot of us out there, a lot of you out there, give the bods at UEFA a lot of shit for coming up with these tournaments, adding more teams where arguably it is all about the Muller, not the Thomas Muller. That's in a separate video. You can go and watch that soon. Link in the description below. We give them shit about the money, all these fixtures, and the fact they revised this tournament. But do you know what? For nights like last night, for the drama it created, oh wow, clap that in again. That was a result that we actually did predict, and I'll just jump quickly to that just as proof. There you go. Look, that was our prediction going into that tie last night. We felt if people like Julian Brandt turned up, because we know that deep down inside of him there is an artisan, there is a visionary, there's a skillful playmaker in there somewhere. And the irony is he didn't start, did he? He didn't come on until what, 70 minutes? But that aside, you know, we felt there were goals. We felt that playing at home in the Westfalen with that yellow wall behind him, like cheering him on, and the history that Dortmund have. Again, we covered it in the build-up video, or the build-up stream, I should say, that, you know, against Atletico Madrid last year, they turned around a 2-1 deficit. I mean, that's, again, Atletico Madrid under Diego Simeone. Another one that's a bit like Julian Brandt. See how this is all tying together? Yes, Gonzo, thank you for that. Diego Simeone, another character that's like Marmite. You know, you either love him or you hate him, right? He's a past master of the dark arts of shithousery, right? Although it was unfortunate that he got knocked out by Real Madrid because of that bizarre, in snooker or pool terms, that double kiss from Alvarez on his penalty kick. So they get knocked out as a result of that. But they did push Real Madrid close. All I'm trying to say is there's a parallel there, right, between... What am I trying to say? Between people that you love or hate, but you know they can put in an effort. And actually, that Dortmund team beat that Atletico Madrid team with all their dark arts and all their shithousery and all their talent, actually. They beat them last season in the Champions League, turning around a deficit. And under Jurgen Klopp back in 2013, en route to the final against their arch enemy Bayern Munich, you know, a Champions League final which was the Classica on steroids, you know, they knocked out Malaga in a similar game where the first leg was 0-0, Malaga are 2-1 up, and there's 10 minutes to go, and Dortmund find those two late goals. Well, that's effectively what we were thinking that Dortmund were going to channel last night, and they did. And they didn't let anyone down, right? In fact, they did themselves incredibly proud. You know, we can take a quick look at the lineups for the two sides. There you go, look. So, interesting that in the Classica, Niko Kovac and his brother Robert, well, in the Classica they went with a 3-1 3-1-4-2. Yeah, 3-1-4-2. Basically the back three, which is what we argued they should have done in the first tie in this game, and this quarter final when they got 4-0. If Kovac would have lined up with a back three, then that deficit, it doesn't feel like it would have been 4-0 going into this game. Anyway, De Clasico he puts in a back three, and he puts in an anchor in Salil Ozcan. This one, however, flat back three, very smart, very Catenaccio, very Italian. And if you're with us this morning, then we did another live stream where we were bigging up and building up to Munich's away tie with Inter in their second leg quarter-final Champions League game. You can go and watch that. That live stream is available, plus there'll be a VOD later on today. Today being Mittwoch, today being Wednesday. Back to Dortmund and Barcelona, second leg. So Gregory Kerbel in goal, who was made captain, which was interesting because usually it's Emre Can, but Emre Can wasn't there. Was he injured? Was he tired? Was he rested? Can't have been tired. Can't have been rested deliberately. So he must have been injured. He's a golden child, right? The two Kovac brothers adore Emre Can. He bleeds yellow and black. He bleeds yellow and black. Oh, we've got someone in the chat. Zir talks. Oh, dude, if that's you from the buying view, then yeah, you're a savvy guy. Thank you for joining in. If it's not, thank you for joining in anyway. Maybe you can go and check that stream out, but don't do it yet because we're still here. Anyway, hey up, big man. Thanks for joining us too. Just subscribe to your channel since you cover Bundesliga, and I'm a Bayern fan. Yeah, maybe it is you. Yes, I know, man. Yeah, the guy with the glasses who talks a lot of sense. He's very passionate. Yes, thank you in the channels here, man. Yeah, cover Bundesliga. We do cover Munich. Not as passionately as what you and Liam and... Is it Steve? Is Steve the guy who likes Newcastle, but he's Sam Meir through and through. Anyway, you three and the rest of that crew in that channel are brilliant. Thanks for joining along. Coming quickly back to Dortmund, yeah. So back three, Nicolas Soule, Valdemar Anton and Rami Bensebaini. 3 against, well, actually, you probably need 13 up against Barcelona's front 3 or front 4. But anyway, went with the back 3. No anchor in this one. 2 wide players. Interesting that Ryerson, yeah, Strasbourg, yeah, that's right, yeah. Nice ones here. Interesting that Jan Couto was brought in instead of Julian Ryerson, who again we felt Ryerson was the better player and was one of the man of the match performers in De Clasico on the weekend. So Jan Couto comes in, playing more of on the right wing. Daniel Svensson, the Swede, on the left. Felix Checker again, comes into games, disappears. Was definitely playing last night alongside Pascal Gross, the ex-Brighton Hove Albion player, the veteran. So that two's holding that midfield together nicely. Maximir Bayer, good to see Maxi Bayer again. He ran himself into the ground against Munich, because I'm sure that Zia and the other crew at the Bayern View would agree. And then Karim Adeyemi on the right, who, on the left, sorry, did look wound up like he did in that first game. And then SEHROU Guirassi, right? It's interesting that he was the tip of the spear. What about a turnaround in fortunes for Guirassi, by the way, right? In that first leg, he was a bit of a horror show. He missed a lot of chances. He was offside a lot. Hat-trick man, right? Ultimate bagsman last night. Did pretty well in De Clasico, with that bit of futsal, that swivel, that volley, that save from Erbig, and then Anton smashes it in for 2-2. But yeah, Guirassi, he played extremely well. And then Barcelona. So they went with a 4-2-3-1, classic football manager formation. Was next to Chesney in goal, who, is that the 3rd penalty he's conceded the Champions League so far this year? I believe it is. They had that incredible game against Benfica, right? Was it the 5-4 in the rain? I'm pretty sure he conceded a couple of penalties that game. Anyway, so he's in goal. Jules Koundé at right back. Ronald, anyone called Ronald, by the way, a bit like anyone called Conrad with a K gets our vote. Pau Kabowski, the young lad, he was partnering Araujo in that centre back, and then you got Diego Martin at left back. Frenkie de Jong and the young lad Gavi, we called him out before. They're the double pivot in midfield, a bit like a Kimmich and Goretzka, but I don't want to wind Zia up because they're two different people who play in 2 different ways. By the way, Zia, I did steal Strasbourg Steve's LA Fitness Leon Goretzka reference. Yeah, I'm going to use that consistently from now on. And then you got that really intimidating attacking three. Lamine Yamal on the right, Rafinha ex-Dirty Leeds on the left, Fermin Lopez in the middle, serving Robert Lewandowski, the ex-Dortmund player. So there's the two lineups. Like I say, we can, from there, we can not only accept that cookie, we can take a look at the score, which you know, because you probably, hopefully you all watched it anyway. It was a cracker, drama, a bit like a basketball game. You know, Dortmund, obviously people like Zia and that crew from the Bayern view are either, I'm not going to spit on them because no one does that, right? But you've got to give them credit because they came facing a 4-goal deficit and they gave it their absolute best. You know, they get that goal after 11 minutes. Panenka, again, how much confidence did Guirassy have in the first leg? He was just pathetic, so I was shocked when he scored a hat-trick. Yeah, that's the point, Zia. That's what I was trying to go with this narrative, really, was what a turnaround in confidence levels to go from being a shit show in that first leg, not being inconsistent most of the season, and then to Panenka it. I mean, anyone that Panenka's a penalty, right? It's got bigger brass balls than Alec Baldwin in Glen Ross. What are these balls? They're for coffees for clothes. It's one of my favourite films, by the way, but I'm just showing my age. Yeah, so he Panenka's, it's 1-0. Pretty sure there was a goal that was chalked off for offside not long after that, which was harsh. Although, again, it wasn't Guirassy this time. It was someone breaking the... Well, I think it was Pascal Gross was offside, right? So that could have been 2-0. So that, all of a sudden, hands starting to flick sweat off his beady brow. You go into half-time 1-0 down. Barcelona are not going to worry about that, are they? Because they've still got a 3-goal advantage. And then it becomes tasty. You know, Dortmund score again. It's that man Guirassy. And it was just that own goal, right? That Rami Ben-Sebaini goal. You think, oh man, like if that doesn't go in, then the momentum is well and truly with Dortmund. Literally, I think I made a reference to Blow Football the other day, but you've got 70,000 Dortmund fans trying to suck that ball in, and they were relentless. You can see by the match stats. Actually, I don't know if you know Zia or if anybody does that. Who else is in this? Who's viewing this in the chat? But we're still trying to find a website where you can see stats broken down by first and second half. I'm not interested in the whole betting and running because that's not this channel. This isn't one of those. We make wild predictions based on numbers because we want to make we want to make some coin and bag some green. We're not into that. We're just interested in breaking down stats by first and second half. Slight side note: I looked the other day that if the Bundesliga table was based on second half performances, then Werder Bremen would be second. You know, what an alternative universe that would be. Anyway, back to this game. You can see that, to be fair, I'm not a huge fan of stats being overused. Yeah, neither are we. I'm a bit of a geek at heart, and I like to use data to tell the story. Just interested, because you can see the swing in the match from the first half to the second. I mean, it's been quite a few interesting games where, I mean, even your Bavarian derby, where you're 1-0 down to Augsburg, and again, I've said in a previous video, if Erbig gets in the way of that Giannola shot, it's taking his head off. 12 metres out, 90 odd Ks. It's a good job he didn't get anything on it, because he'd be another player injured. Then you'd have to play Peretz. And where would you be then? Not shitting on Peretz, by the way, but, third choice keeper. Musiala scores that wonder goal, pulls it back to 1-0, and you go in at half time, and big brain Vincent's giving the boys a dressing down, and you come out the second half. All right, the red card was pivotal in that game, but you still went on to win. So what I'm trying to say is that half time in football, when a team's been under the cosh and you can regroup and the manager earns his money, then second half's very different. And just I say we. He's not real, is he? He's a plush toy. But again, men cry too, and I have to lean on him for moral support, especially after the wife left me. Different story, different channel for that one. What was I saying? Yeah, the stats tell the story, right? Anyway, so you can see if you watched it, Dortmund battered Barcelona, but again, it's Barcelona, and they've got Gavi and Frankie de Jong. I thought they'd probably had below par games. But when you've got a team that's desperate to claw a deficit at home with that many fans, you're always going to be taking the shots. There we go, like 18 shots, 11 on target. It would be nice to have seen that between first and second half, but I think we've gone down that rabbit hole. Yep, there you go. Not a big fan of XG. Goalkeeper saves interesting, so that proves that Szczesny, all right, he might have made a bit of a boo-boo bringing down Gross to concede the penalty, but he still made eight fine saves, to keep his team in the game. And actually, 2 goals that were chalked off for offside, plus a countless number of saves, plus some blocks that were made by the defence, by Araujo, Martin late on. We could be sat here right now, swinging my top around my head with all my chest hair hanging out, with a medal going, look at that, Dortmund are through, this is semi-final, but we're not, because it's those fine margins in football. And it was a rearguard action, which is not something you've got to say about Barcelona, really. You don't really associate Barcelona and rearguard action, because they're usually the one that come out on the front foot, which is exactly what Dortmund did, and it's exactly what Munich are going to need to do tonight, which, sometimes when I do these live streams, my head's all over the place. I've gone from a position of scripting every single word, which is very anal. And it's not my personality. I like this. We like the loungewear, free and easy approach where, yeah, everyone's welcome in. It's an open house. Don't touch me, crown jewels. But, it's an elasticated waist. It's very loose. And that's how we comment on the game, rather than it being strictly word for word. And I'm doing it ironically right, or fittingly right now. The point I was trying to make is that Munich are going to have to come out on their front foot tonight. And you'll probably agree with that, Zia, right? You're going to have to come out tonight as if it was a home tie. Take your 65, 68 average % possession that you're getting away from home and really going for it. Unfortunately, that's the point where you might be vulnerable, because Inter, well, they know how to, with that classic Catenaccio approach of being patient and stubborn and knowing when to strike, like Ezio from Assassin's Creed. That's when they might catch you out if you come on to Inter too quick. But it happened to Barcelona last night again, which is not something we say very often. Going into that game, Barca were 24 games in all competitions unbeaten. They'd scored, 59 games since the start of the year. So actually, it's the first time first time in 7 that Hansi Flick's actually lost to Dortmund. He's tasting defeat in this competition for the first time, but he's dragged Barcelona back into a Champions League semi-final, for the first time since 2019. So again, a lot of you guys are, probably not you personally, Zia, or maybe you do it like I do, and you react and you go, "Oh, sack!" Now I know Liam does, right? Or maybe you use it as clickbait, which is very clever on your thumbnails. Sack every one of them, right? Company out. But at the end of the day, there's only so much company can do with all your injuries. He's trying to put a makeshift team together. He's doing the best he can. Hansi Flick, everyone hated him when he came in. It's like, Jesus Christ, that's the same guy that was in charge of Die Mannschaft in that World Cup in Qatar that they didn't even make it out of the group. Everyone wanted to shit on him, but he's such a empathetic guy with a lot of experience who can work with young talent. And now look at him, 24 games unbeaten, right? So, all right, Dortmund have ended that run tonight, but they're still ahead. They'll still end up winning La Liga, not to a canter, because Real Madrid will find a way to push them close. Yes, I know, Zia. Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen it. I've seen your comments on the fan cam and on the stream, so you're defending him. We try and keep things balanced. Again, we just felt it was crazy playing Guerrero as number 10 when it should have been Thomas Muller in the previous game, and maybe for every game now for the rest of the season, just on the basis it's his last hurrah. And as much as you need to play the right people in the right positions, and he's getting older, right? He's 35. He can't last 90 minutes. Could be an impact sub like he was in that first tie against Inter. But he's going to get swept up, right? The emotion of the occasion, because it could be his last ever Champions League game, is going to make that guy run and run and run like he's 15 again. So, yeah, play him in that position. Anyway, I think... Oh, mate, you should have come in this morning, and we could have just done it all about Munich. Back to this one though, yeah. Basketball type game scenario. We don't say rearguard about Barcelona very much. It was a cracking effort from Dortmund. Again, they did pour everything into it. Julian Brandt came on after 70 minutes. He got a goal that was chalked off for offside. He teed up a number of chances towards the end. Guirassy, yeah, he scores a hat-trick. He sort of validates. Validates, yeah. Well, actually, they've not really got any belts they can play up front, have they? But he's proved a lot of his doubters wrong. Niko Kovac, I believe. Let's just take a look at his... Actually, I can do that at my end so that you guys don't have to. Niko Kovac says, I think we played our best game since I've been here against a strong opponent. No shit, man. What the boys pulled off today with that great support of the fans was sensational. Hats off. It came at just the right moment. We end our campaign on a high, but still, I would have preferred to qualify. And Guirassy, his comment is, post-match, I'm proud of what we achieved. Barcelona are a strong team, but we were strong too and fought to the end. We showed what we can do. I'm happy to have scored. It's just a shame that our run is over. Absolutely. And you're just hoping then that... Oh, what was that? Sorry? Oh, don't worry about it. Oh, sorry, I've just seen this, brother, man. No worries at all, man. Like I said, this is a safe space. Everybody's welcome. Men cry too. Don't worry about it, right? Now you subscribe, now you're part of this wild, whimsical, meandering journey that is the German Football Spotlight channel, then you can drop in whenever. Just like we do on yours. Yeah, because we really enjoy it. Love that passion, man, from Strasbourg, Steve, yourself, and Liam. When Liam gets going, right, he gets going, right? Everyone can be a football fan. That's really the only reason we're here, right? Just going through the rest of these stats. Yeah, we've done all that. In attack, which is the point I was trying to make before. 18 shots, Dortmund 11 on target. 2 blocks from Barca. Total offsides 4. Yeah, interesting that not all of those were Guirassy. To be fair, he is a forward. Yeah, aren't we all? Do you know what I mean? Aren't we all? Again, we're closet Arsenal fans, right? But it's a bit hard to hide it when the shirts and other real people sat giving me moral support. Right, there's the stats. We talked about Kovac. Yeah, we gave you his quotes. I suppose the only comment really is the positive impact that could have on Dortmund's, the rest of Dortmund's campaign in the Bundesliga, right? Spieltag 30. Oh, I haven't learnt the German numbers yet, but apart from Dritte Bundesliga, Zwein Bitter. See if we play. What is, please? Oh, the brain fog's descending. Dankeschön, bitteschön. Yeah. Oh, well. I'll come back to that. Anyway, they're hosting Gladbach on Sunday. Oh, of course, it's Easter. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It's here. They've still got to play Leverkusen. There you go. I just thought I'd put it on the screen because I was interested. So Gladbach, what are they? Currently, in fact, I've done this arse about face. I apologise, everybody. There's the table as it stands with Dortmund sitting in 8th. They play Gladbach on the weekend, Easter weekend at home. There's 2 points. I mean, ideally, they're both trying to get up here, right? They're both of those two. Well, Dortmund are trying to get into the Champions League, so as you can see, there's a 6-point gap between them and Leipzig with 5 games to go. It's at this point in the season where, and even for you, Zia, right? Even for Munich, you've got to win every single game. I suppose it doesn't matter so much what Leverkusen do, although, and we've talked about this on previous streams and videos, that the football gods... Well, the football gods are playing with fate at the minute because every weekend that you play and you seem to drop points, the same thing happened to Leverkusen, right? There was that 125th Mia San Mia anniversary party where Bochum came up and said, you know what, I'm not happy with this. I'm not happy with this party bag or the cake. We're going to take 3 points, thanks, as well. Smash and grab, right? Again, the red card was it Polinia that was sent off in the first half? Yeah, feels like it was Polinia. I don't think it was Guerrero. I don't know, one of the two. Red card, 2-1. Come out of second half again. Back to my point, about half-time conversations. Dieter Hecking must have got into his boys. You come out, you got 10 men. You got that makeshift defence looking a bit uncomfortable. And again, we're not here to shit on anyone because at the end of the day, my footballing career never made it past the trial being the same height as Shea Given in goal, I broke my wrist. So I've got any respect to anyone that's playing, especially at the highest level. Yeah, it was Pliny, right? Thanks for that, Zia. Pliny got the red card. Dyer and Kim, they're just doing their best, right? They're not natural. And again, Conrad with the K Limers at right back when he should be in midfield. He's doing his best, but positionally, it still needs a lot of work, right? And I can't remember who was playing left back that game. Maybe that was Guerrero. Maybe it was Stanisic. Either way, Bochum came and stole those points, but Leverkusen dropped points at home to Werder Bremen, which was like what's going on there? And then the same thing happens on the weekend just gone. You know, it's the Klassiker, which, as we built it up, as I'm sure you did, actually you did, and even Stefan and Manu on Gegenpressing pod, you know, is regardless of the marketing that you put around it, it doesn't matter. It's a game that's played out in a derby-like atmosphere. It's like going to Vegas. It's a Vegas game, right? It's like one roll. Six. I want a six. You know, and it ends up being 2-2 in a very electric game, one that you could well have lost, but you could well have won, right? Because that's number one. Need that a bell. Ding. Need that. Ding. Cliche bell. It's on its way, thanks to eBay. And then Leverkusen dropped points to Union Berlin. But again, as you'll tell me, right? You know, that you went away to the Forests and you battered Union Berlin. Absolutely battered him. And then somehow, you know, 8-0 Harler back, y'all. Little Benedict with his tight kills manages to steal in. Erbig made a mistake. I do think that a lot of people made too much of a big deal about that mistake in that game. And it ends up being 1-1, right? So you dropped points against Union. Leverkusen did the same, you know, but you've got to think about context. There's 5 games to go. There's a lot of people. This stage of the season is the business end where every game matters. I know that's a cliche, right? But every game does matter because it impacts who's going down and it impacts the race for Europe and for you and for teams like Leverkusen. It's the title race, right? It's a story within a bigger narrative. And Dortmund, all they can do is keep winning and hope that other people drop points. So yeah, Easter weekend coming. Dortmund host Gladbach. Tim Kleindist, Instagram friendly, Robin Hack, Rocco Wrights, Julian Weigel, Frank Homrahat, Alassane Plessis, on all those boys on the weekend. And seeing as though you're here, we may as well have a look. You'll tell me, right? Because you'll be doing your preview video soon. Who have you got on the weekend? Mine's. Who have dropped off lately. You know, I'd say that they're not the biggest reason that we get a lot of our predictions wrong, but we haven't really been doing very well in our predictions. Friday tag games, we always nail it. We always seem to get there. We always call the Friday game right, and yet on the weekend we usually get a blowout. And mine's are one of those. Actually, no, you're not. Are you playing Heidenheim? Sorry. Oh, because it always shows your home games first. Oh, this damn website. Oh, you're playing what's his face? Playing Frank Schmidt. Yeah. Again, it's I mean, we haven't done our preview video for match day 30 yet. We'll do it in the next few days. I'll do it as a live stream. On paper, look at the quality in the two sides. You know, you've got Harry Kane, they've got Bodu, and I can never say this one right. Zivuzavadze, the tall Georgian Bodu guy. Yeah, is it Paul Wanner? Yeah. I thought there was 2 Paul Wanners in the Bundesliga. Anyway, yeah, Wanner's good. I remember Zivuzavadze. Is it Remberg and Dorsch? They're Heidenheim. We used to call them Crystal Palace because the kit's very much like Crystal Palace, right? Although, as I keep forgetting, that Heidenheim played in Europe this season, right, in the Conference League, and it feels like with that. How do we put this? Oh, just come out of it, Craig. Right, so Munich are a billion revenue, $1 billion revenue club, right? Heidenheim are tiny. They can do all you can do is the best with the resources that you've got, and that's the same team that we're trying to effectively field 2 sides in Europe this year in the Conference League. It feels like it's been a bit of a distraction. Their Bundesliga form has suffered. Okay, Zivuzavadze is injured, right? See again. This is why I follow your channel. You guys are ahead of the curve. We're still learning, right? It's still the small details. We're trying to cover everybody, and I think that's a strength as well as a bit of a weakness, right? Whereas you guys, you really care about Munich, and that's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And they need it, and they're going to need it more than ever as you, especially tonight. They're going to need that support, and they're going to need that support in the run into the end of the Bundesliga, right? So you can win that 12th title, like that 12. You can lift that 12th salad bowl, the Meisterschale, in 13 seasons. Whereas we're trying to cover every team, right? We're trying to be Switzerland, and it's hard to be Switzerland, right? When everyone just wants to be Germany. Where's this going? Yeah. So on paper, your quality far outseeds Heidenheim, and yet same with Leverkusen, and it was a Leverkusen result, right? It was ex-Villa man Buendia that scored on the 91st minute to save Xabi Alonso's blushes. So Frank Schmidt will be hoping that the same happens. Yeah, Hontek's a class player. So is Zavadzi. Do you know what? We're here, so we might as well look this up, don't we? Because I forget that the chat's on a delay, so I could be like Steve Davis. Well, hopefully not as boring, but as in that probably doesn't work, does it? Gary Kasparov, chess player. I'm 2 or 3 moves ahead, and the chat's coming in, and you're lolling. I'm like, I'm not sure which part you're laughing at, or maybe hopefully you're laughing with me, not at me. That's all I ask. Because men cry too. Where was I going with this one? Heidenheim. There we go. Look, right. Paul Wanner. We were both right. Yeah, young lad. He's been our one to watch. That used to be a feature of our videos as well, when I used to script this within an inch of its life to stop me to box in my personality. We've called this guy out before, Paul Wanner. Yeah. Oh, of course, there's no back button, is there? So I've got to go all the way around Europe just to come back. Yeah, he said there's no Honzat. Marvin Pyringer. He's a pretty useful player. Oh, Lord Conte. He came on as a sub the other day, didn't he? Away at Frankfurt, but he couldn't do anything to change the game. Paul Wanner. Nicholas Dorsch. He's tattooed to fuck, isn't he? He's like the male, like a football equivalent of a Suicide Girl. Jan Schnoppner. Yeah, he was our previous one to watch. Omar Traore. No relation of the famous Jimmy Traore. Yeah, interesting. I can make the prediction now if you want, Zia. We can do it. We can go head to head. My prediction then, our prediction for this game on the weekend. Sorry, where's this? Match day 30. Let's make sure we're all in on it. Yeah. Our prediction for this one, 3-1. Munich away win. Yeah, you'll get your go-ahead goal. Frank Schmidt will do some magic. It'll be 1-1, and then you'll win it 3-1. Right, I'm saying that. Click that. Somebody, I'll do it later on in the VOD. Yeah, there you go. Munich to win 3-1 away. It being 1-1, and then you'll win it 3-1. And we said, didn't we, that Dortmund are playing Gladbach. And it feels like, unless there's any other business... Yeah, you agree, yeah? 3-1, okay. Well, again, you don't have to commit now. Don't worry about it, brother. Don't worry about it. I'm just really, really excited the fact that you're in the chat. Last time we lost 3-2. Is that right? Yeah, I'm not gonna doubt you, but just for other viewers, we can... Oh, no back button. All fixtures. There we go. If you see it, tell me when to stop. It's a bit like what's the quiz show? Mr. Chips. Say what you see. Catchphrase, right? If you see it, say it and stop. Last season. Oh, right, okay. Last season, right? Now you tell me. Now you hang me out to dry. Well, this is this season, right? So 4-2. There you go. Yes. Obviously, there'll be no Upamecano this time. Dayot, what a great name, by the way. Dayot. Oh, lovely name, that. So that at one point was 1-1. You think it should be 3-1. That's a pretty good one, yeah. But no Upamecano for you, or Musiala. No Honzek for them. The Suicide Girl, just because of all the tattoos. So it was 1-1. Then you went 3-1 up, 3-2, and then my main man Jamal scores at the end. Wow. You predicted 2-1 Inter. Okay, well, like you say, you're going to have to not be defensively dumb. You're going to have to go at it like a racehorse when that starter pistol goes off, and just try not get caught out of the back. But that's hard, isn't it? It's hard, right? It's hard when you're going to go 2 for 2 at the back. You know, I know where my money's going, right? It's going on Thuram and Martinez to win that scrap. Fill the channels, overlaps, balls into the box, and then that's when the magic might happen. But yeah, you feel like Inter will catch us lacking and will miss chances. Well, again, if you're creating chances, that's important, right? And again, you've got the emotional factor in Thomas Muller, all that energy that's going to be surging through him, especially in that last 10 minutes. If there's still a deficit, Christ, that guy he's going to enter beast mode, right? He's going to be Dragon Ball. He's going to go full Goku, right? And try and win that game for you guys. It's tough when we have idiots at the back. Yeah, again, like, can you do with what you got, right? You know, same here, right? You can only play with what you've got. This is the only face I've got. It's the best I've got. I don't like my voice, but it's the only one I have. I could modulate it, I suppose. Yeah. Or we could go to some backstreet doctor in a foreign country and see if we'd fix it. But the older you get, the deeper it gets. You know, the slacker you get. And that applies to every piece of your anatomy. So, yeah. If you get old, do it with grace. And that feels like a bombshell to win this one on. See you, Talks, man. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, if you haven't, please go out there and subscribe and follow the Buy-in View. There'll be a watch along later. Lots of content in the meantime. Mia San Mia, care 1,000% for the buy-in. Yes, you got to deal with what's in front of you. Yeah, he's smart. He's a smart guy. So yeah, we close this out by saying it was a great effort. Monumental effort from Dortmund. They tried to climb that Eiger, but you know that north face is pretty skiddy. A lot of black ice. They did their best. Didn't quite like a French mime artist though. Didn't quite reach the summit. And if they keep winning all the games the rest of the Bundesliga season, then they might well end up in the Champions League again. Otherwise, yeah, for Dortmund it's out. They can focus on domestic football, and for Barcelona, I don't even know who they got next. Is it one of Arsenal and Real? Oh Christ! I should know that. Need to lock that up, don't we? Quickly. Who would Arsenal face? Yeah, okay, right. So if Arsenal beat Real Madrid, then they'll face PSG, which means it's the winner of this tie playing Barcelona. Wow, I mean that's like two different teams with different cultures that love going forward. But that would, do you know what? Yeah, that would be a cracking matchup, wouldn't it? Inter playing Barca. Wow. That could either go one or two ways, couldn't it? That could be 7-6 or it could be 0-0 and down to penalties. But we hope for Zia Talks and for the Buy-in View and for Danny and for Liam and Steve, everybody, we hope it's Munich. We do hope it's Munich in that semi-final and go all the way and lift the trophy. We'll find out, I suppose. But yeah, Dortmund gave it their best. They couldn't quite climb that mountain. But you've got a dream. You've got a dream. And it's onwards for Barcelona for Hansi Flick as he takes Barcelona into their second semi-final since 2019. If you're in the chat, like Zia was, Thanks for joining in. Appreciate the views. Appreciate the love. Feel free to like and subscribe. It is your free will. However, we're passionate. We're here. We don't just do these reactions and preview videos. We open stickers. We play Football Manager. And we'll do whatever we're asked to do. Yeah, we'll do feature videos and individual teams, individual players. Just let us know, right? You can reach us here. You can reach us on TikTok. You can reach us on Twitter, X, whatever it's called, at German Football Spotlight, as it is in that bottom corner. Yeah, find us on all major social media channels. We're here for you. Otherwise, grab your drinks, get your snacks. Enjoy the game this evening. Mia San Mia. Dortmund, you did us proud. Au revoir for now. See you very soon.